All right, friends, a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago actually, Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google and Alphabet, went on the Lex Fridman podcast and was asked a lot of questions about the future of search, the future of blogs, the future of websites, and how AI is affecting SEO, affecting being a webmaster, affecting putting up articles. So he gave all these answers, and then Roger Monti at Search Engine Journal compiled the answers because it's a very long podcast, and maybe you haven't listened to all of it, or maybe you didn't even know about it. Roger Monti at Search Engine Journal put together an article giving Sundar Pichai's answers to these very important questions about the future of top-of-funnel content marketing with Google search. So I'm going to share this article, and I'm going to give my commentary as I share it with you. Let's go. Google's CEO Sundar Pichai responded to concerns about the impact of recent changes in search and was repeatedly asked to clarify his position on the web ecosystem and how it fits into what he calls the next chapter of search. Pichai's responses were given in the context of a recent interview on the Lex Fridman podcast. Lex Fridman challenged Pichai on whether Google will continue sending users to the human-created web. Pichai responded that supporting the web ecosystem is something he feels deeply about. Fridman said, and the idea that AI mode will still take you to the web, to the human-created web? Pichai responded, yes, that's going to be a core design principle for us. Fridman followed up by noting that he's been asking more questions from Google's AI overviews and AI mode and exploring, but he still wants to end up on the human-created web. Pichai responded, it helps us deliver higher quality referrals, right? You know where people are like they have a much higher likelihood of finding what they're looking for. They're exploring, they're curious, their intent is getting satisfied more. That's what all our metrics show. Because it's human speech, and this is transcribed exactly, there are some grammatical errors, but I'm still including them. Also, if you don't know what AI mode is, it's a new feature in Google. It's to the left, so it's not a default. AI overviews are a default. You see them automatically. AI overviews will synthesize answers from a lot of top pages, give you answers right there. A lot of the time, you won't even need to click into the sites. In fact, AI overviews, this AI overview solution cuts clicks to sites by 35%. And that was a study done by Ahrefs, by 35%. And Ahrefs found that they target informational keywords 99% of the time. They're 99% triggered by informational keywords, not commercial keywords and not transactional bottom of funnel keywords. And then AI mode, it's basically like ChatGPT. AI overviews, you don't have a back and forth. AI mode, you do have a back and forth. But again, it's not a default, whereas you just see AI overviews automatically. And with both AI overviews and AI mode, there are major hallucinations. They are getting things really wrong. That's being reported on a lot. So back to this summary of Sundar Pichai talking to Lex Fridman about the future of SEO and content marketing with Google search. Lex Fridman said, it makes the humans that create the web nervous. The journalists already are nervous. Sundar Pichai answered, look, I think news and journalism will play an important role. In the future, we're pretty committed to it, right? And so I think making sure that ecosystem, in fact, I think we'll be able to differentiate ourselves as a company over time because of our commitment there. So it's something I think I definitely value a lot. And as we are designing, we'll continue prioritizing approaches. So kind of a nothing burger answer there. Pichai mentioned that user metrics of AI search are encouraging and referred to it as the next chapter of search, underlining that AI search is an inevitability and is not going away. And that is true. AI search is an inevitability and it is not going away. Search technologies have consistently been in a steady state of change. The strongest effects were visible in the 2004 Florida update, the 2012 Penguin Links update, the 2018 Medic update, and the more recent series of helpful content updates, all of which brought massive changes to search rankings. None of those changes are as ambitious and consequential as what the human-created web is facing with Google's AI overviews and AI mode. And that is also truth right there. Speaking as someone who has been a part of search marketing for over 25 years, I believe Pichai may be understating the situation by calling it the next chapter in search. It may well be that Google AI search is an entirely new book. Maybe, but I'm going to comment and say that if you're ranking well on Google or Bing, then you're also going to be surfaced a lot with ChatGPT, with AI overviews, and with AI mode. And this isn't speculation. This is just fact. This is what happens. If you have pages that are ranking number one, AI solutions are going to use those and cite those. However, especially if it's informational content, you might not get the clicks. You're more likely to get clicks when it's a unique perspective or something that AI is likely to get wrong. And the more people search and use AI, the more they understand what AI messes up. Or, again, transactional content where people aren't looking for answers, they're looking for solutions. Back to the article, Lex Fridman remarked on how Google was legendary for its simple layout and the 10 blue links, saying that Google is starting to mess with that and that surely there must have been battles within Google about that. Pichai subtly corrected Fridman's suggestion that Google was moving away from the 10 blue links, which hasn't been a thing for nearly 15 years, by stating that the shift to mobile is the reason why Google shifted away from 10 blue links, evolving along with the pace of technological advancements and users' expectations for answers, not links. Pichai emphasized that Google remains, quote-unquote, the front page of the internet, as Fridman put it, because of their commitment to making it easier for users to explore the web only with more context. Pichai answered, and now this is a long quote from Sundar Pichai, "Look, in some ways when mobile came, people wanted answers to more questions, so we're constantly evolving. But you're right, this moment, that evolution, because underlying technology is becoming much more capable. You can have AI give a lot of context. But one of our important design goals, though, is when you come to Google search, you're going to get a lot of context, but you're going to go and find a lot of things out on the web. So that will be true in AI mode, in AI overviews, and so on. But I think to our earlier conversation, we are still giving you access to links, but think of the AI as a layer which is giving you context summary. Maybe in AI mode, you can have a dialogue with it back and forth on your journey. But through it all, you're kind of learning what's out there in the world. So those core principles don't change. But I think AI mode allows us to push. We have our best models there, models which are using search as a deep tool. Really, for every query you're asking, fanning out, doing multiple searches, assembling that knowledge in a way so you can go and consume what you want to, and that's how we think about it. So he mentioned context a lot there. The way that I'm thinking about that is somebody starts with a top-of-funnel query, and then they ask all these questions. The AI helps them understand what they're looking for, solutions to their questions, and then the AI ends up recommending products. And the AI recommends products because you have transactional content that the AI is trained on. And so the AI is recommending your products. Or you have a huge corpus of documentation about all the different ways that your products and services can be used. And that also makes it easier for the AI to recommend your products and services. So now we move on to this section in this article, Advertising in AI Mode. Something that isn't immediately apparent is that Google treats advertising as a form of content that is relevant to users. Advertising is not seen as an intrusion, but as something relevant to users within a context of their interests. Fridman next asked him about advertising in AI mode. Pichai responded that they are currently focusing on getting the organic experience right, but he also turned to the concept of context. Again, context. Pichai's response: 2 things. Early part of AI mode will obviously focus more on the organic experience and make sure we are getting it right. I think the fundamental value of ads are it enables access to deploy the services to billions of people. Second is, the reason we've always taken ads seriously is we view ads as commercial information, but it's still information. And so we bring the same quality metrics to it. I think with AI mode, to our earlier conversation, I think AI itself will help us over time figure out the best way to do it. Given we are giving context around everything, I think it will give us more opportunities to also explain, okay, here's some commercial information. Like today, as a podcaster, you do it at certain spots and you probably figure out what's best in your podcast. There are aspects of that, but I think the underlying need, people value commercial information. Businesses are trying to connect to users. all that doesn't change in an AI moment. But look, we will rethink it. This sounds to me that they don't know how they're going to incorporate ads, which is how they make their money. Because if the AI is getting paid to recommend something, it's pretty different than it recommending it organically. And it's not a good look. And it's hard to trust something. So maybe what would happen is the AI would be like, it sounds like you're looking for this. You can use this tool, or you can use this product. You can use this service. And then next to that sentence, there's a label on it that says ad. That's how I would imagine it. But the thing is, the product or service might not be a good fit for what's being recommended. And so advertisers will have to put in a lot more work to explain why the product or service is a good fit, because the AI needs to have context in order to spin up a response and say how this is relevant, so on and so forth. Ads in AI mode really do not it doesn't seem like there's a good way to do it. But this is me speculating for all of 5 seconds as I record this podcast. I'm sure that if I gave some serious thought to it, I'd think of something better. But I totally could see a sentence in AI mode where the AI recommends something and then it says ad next to it. But again, the AI needs to have a lot of documentation on the product or service so it knows how to recommend it. And that brings us back to creating bottom of funnel content, a lot of documentation, all of this stuff that is going to help you anyway with normal SEO. Create transactional content. That's it. I have a 13-hour course on how to create transactional SEO content because it is so important at Compact Keywords. It's always been the best form of SEO, and now it's just so much more important. And it has always been the best because it's always been easier, faster, higher converting, less competitive. Anyway, you can learn more if you watch the video at the top of compactkeywords.com. You'll learn a lot more. Back to this article. We're almost done. Oh my gosh. There is a section now. Will AI mode replace everything? And that's a question that a lot of people in SEO and a lot of people in the industry are asking. Lex Fridman asks if Pichai sees a time where AI mode will become the interface through which the internet is filtered, asking if there's a future where it completely replaces the current combination of AI overviews and 10 blue links. Pichai answered, "Our current plan is AI mode is going to be there as a separate tab for people who really want to experience that. But it's not yet at the level where our main search pages, but as features work, we'll keep migrating it to the main page. And so you can view it as a continuum. AI mode offers you the bleeding edge experience, but things that work will keep overflowing to AI overviews in the main experience." I take that as meaning AI mode has a lot of problems. It has a lot of hallucinations. It could just cause serious problems and very quickly erode trust in Google. That's how I see it. All right. Takeaways from this. The questions posed by Lex Fridman echo the fears and negative sentiment felt by many publishers about Google's evolution to providing answers to queries instead of links to the open web. Sundar Pichai repeatedly stated that Google intends to keep sending users to the human-created web, explaining that AI provides more context that encourages users to explore topics on the web in greater depth. Those statements, however, are undermined by Google's delay in enabling web publishers to accurately track referrals from AI overviews and AI mode. This creates the impression that publishers are an afterthought and feeds web publisher skepticism about Google's commitment to the human-created web. While it's refreshing to hear Google's CEO emphatically declare his concern for the web ecosystem, I believe it will take more positive actions from Google to overcome web publishers' negative outlook on the current state of AI search. And that is this article. Google CEO Sundar Pichai discusses fate of the human-created web from Roger Monti on Search Engine Journal. Keep putting out those bottom of funnel pages. Keep making that transactional content. Put out documentation on your products and services. You will win if you do that. If you want to learn more, check out compactkeywords.com. That is all for this episode of the show. This is episode 721 of my daily digital marketing show. 721 days in a row without missing a day. Crazy. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.